We are your hosts. I am Amate.
And I am The Grin.
Welcome to our podcast. We are actually going to be doing a special episode.
A very festive one.
Remember, this is a place where we don't shy away from gruesome details, where some cases may be triggering and hard to hear. So get yourself in the right frame of mind.
And let's talk about dark shit.
I'm going to go straight into my case. This is the Christmas massacre by Charles Lawson. Born May 10th, 1886, to parents Augustus and Nancy, alongside his brothers Marion and Elijah. They were born in Lawsonville, North Carolina. He was raised in a working class family, the kind of family that worked on their crops to make a living. Remember, I think it was like 1886.
Okay.
At the age of 25, 1911, he met and married Fanny Mannering. And right afterwards, they started having their family. They created a horde, basically.
Oh my God.
They had 8 children.
Wow. They really got busy, huh?
Yeah.
Goodness.
This is their names, all the children. There's Marie, Arthur, William, Carrie, Maybelle, James, Raymond, and Mary Lou. For their third child, William, at age 6, though, he passed away from pneumonia. So they're just left with 7 kids now. Throughout the years, Charles, I'm probably going to go back and forth with Charlie because a lot of the articles called him Charlie.
Okay.
But his name is Charles. I don't know. That's his real name. So I'll call Charles and Charlie when I'm pissed off, probably.
Okay.
So Charles and his brothers, they all work together as sharecroppers in Germantown. Sharecropper, this is where you rent a piece of land and whatever crop you produce, that part goes to the landowners as rent. Okay. So that's what sharecropping is. After so many years of working hard like that, in 1927, Charles was able to buy their own house. It was a 200-year-old house and farm and property to become a tobacco farmer. A few weeks before Christmas Day of 1929, Charles takes his whole family to Winston-Salem, just 13 miles away. He buys every single one of them new clothes because they're going to take a portrait, a family portrait that he set up. The thing is, with him being a tobacco farmer, you aren't making a lot of money.
Oh, really?
In the early 1900s.
Mm-hmm.
You're a farmer. I don't think you make a lot of money.
Oh, doing anything or just tobacco?
Tobacco.
Oh.
Just tobacco. Him being a tobacco farmer, not making that much money, but yet he's going to be spending a lot of money on clothes for his whole family. Yeah. It's a lot of people.
Yeah.
That being said, this was a bit bizarre to what a lot of articles that I read were saying. And okay, so I want to talk about the photo. When you look at the photo, and it will be posted on Instagram.
Follow us on there, please, if you have not yet.
In the photo, they are all looking so serious, like almost depressed looking, except for Charles. Charles had this slightest smirk on his face, just the slightest of smirk. I'm not sure if it's the style of how people would pose for the portraits back in the days or back in those times. Maybe the whole family was being forced to take the pictures, so they didn't want to smile. Or it could be that around that time in October of 1929, that is when the stock market crashed, and immediately after it was the Great Depression. So I don't know if that had anything to do with the style of photos or maybe because they weren't smiling. I don't know. You'll see when you look at the photo. But it is now morning of Christmas in 1929. And Charles, along with his 16-year-old son, Arthur, and the family's 2 beagles, go out rabbit hunting. 17-year-old Marie wakes up and she starts baking a cake. She starts baking a raisin cake for that day. While Charles and Arthur are out hunting, they end up running out of bullets. So Charles sends his son to town to go buy more bullets, and that's around 1 p.m.
Okay.
And Charles decides to go back home. Charles isn't going home to greet his wife, who's probably holding the 4-month-old Mary Lou, or to enjoy a slice of cake. He's actually behind the barn waiting. And now here is where we talk about that day. This involves the death of minors. So if it's too much, now is the time to sign off until Grin's case. So come back in probably 5 minutes. So the 2 middle girls, Carrie, 12, and Mabel, 7, start on their way to head to their aunt and uncle's house. But remember, their father is waiting behind the barn. And when he sees the girls, he shoots his daughters and bludgeons them to death. He then proceeds to drag their little bodies to the tobacco barn, where he lays their bodies with their arms crossed and rocks under their heads. Next, he walks up to the house where wife Fanny is out on the porch. He shoots her first, and then while inside, the kids see what happened and they start running. With no luck with this freaking monster, he catches Marie, 17, along with her two brothers, James, 4, and Raymond, 2, and he shoots them as well. And to finalize his brutality, he walks up to 4-month-old Mary Lou and fractures her skull by bludgeoning her.
Oh my God.
When he was done with what he did, he placed all the bodies on the floor with their arms crossed and pillows under their heads, just like how he did with Carrie and Mabel in the barn, but with rocks. Like the coward of a human this guy is, he then goes to the woods behind the barn where in the snow, because it's winter, you could see his footprints circling a tree. I don't know if it was maybe him considering of not doing what he was going to do, or he was regretting what he did. But then he goes and he shoots himself in the heart.
Oh my God.
Nobody knows the exact reason of why he all of a sudden decided to go on this rampage. All that is known is that where they found his body were a couple of notes. I don't know what they say, but one of them, all it reads is, blame nobody but I. If you're keeping track, I only named off 6 kids.
Yeah.
Arthur was still in town when this was all happening. He returned home after it was discovered by his cousin of what happened. I'm going to be talking about now theories and rumors of why he could have done this. Since he's not alive to say why. 1, some say that he must have witnessed some type of organized crime, mob hit, and it was decided that the whole family needed to be silenced. Another one is a few months before then, while he was out working, it was said that he got hit in the head real hard with an axe. And that must have knocked something loose because supposedly right after that, he started, acting with this furious temper. There was an intern medical examiner from Johns Hopkins nearby or visiting. They took his brain to Johns Hopkins Hospital and they didn't find anything wrong with his brain. Okay, so the third one is the darkest of rumors. Almost 60 years later, when a book named White Christmas, Bloody Christmas by M. Bruce Jones was published about the Lawson murders, the author spoke to a cousin of the family named Stella Lawson, and it was said that she remembers at the funeral that I have to say brought 5,000 people to attend the funeral. That she overheard some of the family members talking or gossiping about how Fanny, the mom, had told them that Charles and their daughter, 17-year-old Marie, were having an incestuous affair.
I get it.
You get it? Okay, you're just staring blankly at me.
I'm just like, what? I'm like...
In another book from Trudy J. Smith called The Meaning of Our Tears, a close friend of Marie named Ella May was confided in by Marie that she was pregnant with her father's baby and that both parents knew about it. This massacre created about 10 songs, 2 books, and a documentary. This was a well-known case, even so much that the day after, the New York Times already published a story. And because of that, that's the reason 5,000 people were in attendance to the funeral.
What in the world?
The part, I don't like this part, but I'm going to say it. At the funeral, instead of there being 8 coffins for the family members, there were 7 because since Mary Lou was still a baby, they just put her wrapped in her mother's arms in the same coffin.
Oh my God.
That hurts my insides. I feel it right now.
Oh.
Because of how publicized this case was, so many people were just curious and wanted to go into the house to see the outcome. We'll call this morbid curiosity of the masses.
Yeah.
When people were going into the house, a sad little raisin cake still stood there, all pretty looking and ready for that Christmas day. It stayed there for a long while too, because it got to the point where they had to put a glass dome over it because so many people were coming in to see it. And people were actually taking some of the raisins for souvenirs.
Ew.
Cake.
That's disgusting.
I know. Because of how much attention it was receiving, Charles's brother, Marion, he basically turned it into like a museum and started charging people 25 cents to go in. So that house, from what I heard of, is no longer standing, but in Madison, North Carolina, a place called Madison's Dry Goods Museum holds some pictures of the hearses, the family was in, and I think I also heard that they have an embalmed photo of Charles. So they have little photos here and there.
Oh,
It's still up today. They still have a Facebook.
that's so weird. Okay, I have a few questions.
Yes.
First of all, you said that the house went to Marion, Charles's brother, right?
I guess you could say it went to him. Yeah.
Because didn't he still have a kid left?
Marion? Oh, you mean Charles?
Charles,
Yeah, he had
Arthur?
Arthur.
Yeah. Why didn't he go to Arthur?
Arthur was 16 still. And supposedly, I didn't see where Arthur went afterwards,
Okay.
but I heard, I'm not sure if it's true, but that Marion decided to start charging people 25 cents to go into the house so he can start collecting money for Arthur since he is now an orphan.
An orphan, yeah. Why did he spare Arthur?
I don't know. I really don't
He
know.
could have sent any of his kids.
He could have, or he could have just said, hey, we're done for the day. Let's just go back home and spend Christmas with everybody.
Yeah.
That I don't know why he spared him.
Yeah. And well, my theory, because like you said, tobacco or farming tobacco doesn't earn you a lot of money, and getting close to like the Great Depression. Like, what if it was like financial reasons? Like they're struggling. He basically saw that it was going nowhere, so decided to do like a family suicide thing.
That could be something because it's not like that's unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
I heard of something similar to that.
Yeah.
That happened, I think, a few months ago. This very old man in Florida,
Mm-hmm.
I think, had really big money issues and decided to kill his daughter.
Yeah.
So that's not unheard of. That could be something.
Okay.
But
Because it's my theory, thinking about everything you just said right now.
It could be. But then there also was those rumors in the family
Yeah.
at the funeral about
Just so strange.
something between.
But then why kill all the kids? Why kill also Mary Lou unless
Yeah, she was too young to even know anything.
yeah.
She could have been just like
Unless
family.
Unless Mary Lou is
Mary's daughter, Marie,
yeah, Mary Lou. What did you say? Mary Lou's the baby?
the 4-month-old. Yeah.
Unless Mary Lou is like, it sounds gross, but like the result of this incestuous relationship.
That was nowhere to be found.
Okay, there's no proof of that.
No. And then supposedly, if Fanny did tell the family or her sisters or whoever it was that Charles was having an affair with his daughter, I feel like she also would have said something that Mary Lou isn't my child.
Did Arthur ever give interviews or say anything later in life about...
I didn't see anything about that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Those are the only theories or...
And since it happened so long ago, there's literally nobody.
Yeah.
Aside from Arthur, and he's probably like...
he passed away.
Oh,
he passed away in a car accident.
No.
Married with kids.
Wait, passed away in the car accident with his kids?
No.
Oh, just him. Okay.
Him by himself. No.
Like, oh my gosh.
But he grew up.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was I guess you can call it Christmas Massacre, orchestrated by Charles Lawson.
Well, then I guess it's my turn. My case is no better. My case also involves harmful acts against a minor, and it also involves money issues. So, it's kind of funny. People doing horrible things during the time of giving and the time of giving. And
giving, not receive. It's giving.
It's giving. And people want to have issues with money. So, Amate spoke of a case set in 1929. I'm going to take us all the way into the future, but not too, close to us right now. We're going to 2007, actually. And we're going to go to Carnation, Washington, which is located an hour away from Seattle, which, if you guys have never been to Washington, Seattle is actually the largest city in Washington. Carnation is labeled a city, but it's honestly more of like a rural town. The population isn't that big and people know each other, I guess. Houses are more like apart from each other. But we're going to talk about the Carnation murders that occurred on December 24th, 2007. So on the morning of December 24th, 2007, Wayne Scott Anderson and his wife, Judy Anderson, 60 and 61, were both prepping the house for the holidays. Judy was wrapping gifts, and Wayne was in front of the TV when two guests arrived. These two guests were Michelle, their daughter, and her boyfriend, a man named Joseph McEnroe. So they waited, or there was no time hesitated, or what's the word I'm looking for? They didn't hesitate, basically.
They didn't. Oh.
They went straight to the point.
Oh.
Yes. Joseph goes into the house and basically distracts Judy while Michelle goes to her father, pulls out her handgun, points it at him, and shoots, missing. She continues to shoot again, but her gun jams. Joseph, the boyfriend, hearing this, goes running into the living room, shoots Wayne because Michelle couldn't, fixes her gun, and then together shoot Judy and then shoot Wayne again.
Oh my God.
Once they finished, they go and drag their bodies to the shed and clean up the house. Then they proceed to sit down and wait for the guests to arrive.
Oh, there was more people coming.
Mhm.
Okay, but was Judy and Wayne actually expecting their daughter and the boyfriend? Like they were an
Judy
actual
and Wayne
guest?
were expecting their kids.
How old are they?
Judy, or are you talking
Not
about
Judy, the daughter.
the daughter? Michelle was 29 and Joseph was also 29.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Let's see. We're going to go to an hour later, actually, after they finish shooting Wayne and Judy. Scott Anderson, 32, arrives with his wife, Erica Mantell Anderson, who is also 32. Scott is the older brother of Michelle. Along with them comes Olivia Anderson, 5-year-old, and Nathan Anderson, 3-year-old. And together they go into the house and are greeted with Michelle with a handgun and Joseph alongside her. Michelle immediately points the gun to her brother, Scott, angry, furious, because he owes her money, and proceeds to shoot him. Erica was able to get the phone and dial 911, which you can actually hear the 911 calling on YouTube. It's disturbing. It's only a few seconds long. I did listen to it, and you can hear panting. You can hear Erica ask for help. You can hear screaming in the background, and then blank. So what ended up happening, because they interrogated Joseph as to what happened to that 911 call or what was going on, because the 911 operator heard arguing and dispatched cops over to the location. Joseph actually said that he was trying to calm the kids down while also shoot Erica. When he sees that Erica's on the phone, grabs the phone from her hand, smashes it against the wall, and shoots her 2 times to kill her. Once they finish shooting both Scott and Erica, they proceed to shoot Olivia and Nathan. Because, according to Michelle, it was unfair to let these kids live after witnessing these people killing their parents.
Okay,
So
before my stomach was hurting because of my story, how sad and everything, and now my stomach hurts because I'm fucking pissed off. Are you serious? That's
Yes.
what they said?
Yes.
That's what Michelle says?
Yes. It was inhumane to let them live after witnessing this.
But it's not inhumane to kill your family.
Apparently not. Yes, she is a monster. Yes, she is a monster. They proceed to shoot the 2 little kids. The cops actually arrive to the scene, but before they do, Michelle, aware that Erica's 911 call went through, went running out. And like I said, these houses are kind of far apart and their house is actually gated. So what what Michelle does is she goes and locks it. And when the cops arrive, they notice that the gates are locked. So they're just peeking through. I don't know what the exact reasoning is. Some of the articles that I read said it was laziness. Some of it said the cops thought it was just like a holiday prank and they didn't continue or proceed to investigate. So they got in their car and left. After that, Michelle and her boyfriend Joseph get in their car and leave. First, trying to drive up north to Canada, then driving back down, heading towards Oregon. Unable to make up their mind, they decide to go back to the crime scene.
What?
Yes. Now we're going to jump to December 26th.
Stupid bitches. Did they at least steal money?
No, they didn't steal money.
What?
So we're going to jump to December 26th when Judy's best friend and her coworker goes and tries to figure out why wasn't Judy at work. So Judy works at the postal office and she didn't show up to work that day. So when her friend goes and tries to check on her, she ignores the locked gate, goes around it, and then proceeds to go to the house.
Wait, so how come the police didn't do that?
Again, some articles said lazy work, some articles said cops probably thought it was a prank.
That's horrible. That somebody who was actually interested, the friend or coworker, found a way in.
Yeah, she went in. She didn't go inside the house. She went, I guess, close to it enough to see through the window that there were bodies on the floor. So she proceeds to call the cops again. Cops show up. The friend, in her mind, thinks that the bodies belong to Judy and Wayne, but it was soon discovered that it's not. It's Scott and Erica and the two little kids. Wayne and Judy's bodies are discovered in the shed.
They moved there. Oh, that's right, because they were cleaning up the house. Okay, got
to
it.
welcome Scott and Erica. Oh, while this is all going on, guess who shows up? Michelle and Joseph show up. And you know why? Because they wanted to make it seem like, oh my gosh, like we just got here to spend time with our family. What's going on? That was their plan. Like to show up to the crime scene, not knowing anything, acting all shocked, start crying, and asking what is going on. And that is exactly what Michelle did.
Okay, so here's the map. Washington. What's next to Washington?
Idaho.
Idaho?
Well, it depends where you go. Up north is Canada, up south is Oregon.
Stupid. They can decide if they're going to go up or down. They just go to the side.
I'm thinking of Oregon. No, Washington is next to Montana.
As Montana?
Yeah.
They're just so stupid.
You know what okay, so yeah, they're something else. They're horrible. They show up, start letting the crocodile tears out, start like panicking and shocked that something horrible happened to their family. Cops didn't believe this because the friend was actually aware that there was bad blood between Wayne and Judy and their daughter, Michelle.
Oh.
We're going to go a few days back. Michelle lived in a trailer along with Joseph in the property or on the land of her parents, rent-free. She just did her thing, had her own place, and she didn't care because it was her parents' property, so nobody could tell her anything.
So basically, she basically lived in the backyard kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the day came when Judy didn't like this, and neither did Wayne, and confronted her about it and told her, you need to start paying bills and start paying like your keep because you're living on our land.
You're 29 years old.
And you're 29 years old with your boyfriend. And she did not like this because, first of all, she had no money. She said that her reasoning behind not having any money is because she lent $40,000 to her brother Scott, who...
And that's why she lives in a trailer?
That's why she lives in a trailer with her boyfriend, which her parents did not believe, so this infuriated her. And when she confronted Scott about the $40,000, he said that he was going to pay her back.
Oh, so supposedly it was true?
Supposedly it was true.
Oh, okay.
Again, this pissed her off. This angered her because she wanted the money and she didn't understand why her parents were forcing her to pay bills.
You're 29. I have to say it again. 29 years old.
You're 29 years old living in their backyard.
Yeah. I'm going to assume that her and Joseph both didn't have a job.
Joseph actually worked at Target.
2007.
Yeah.
So, what, $8 an hour?
Yeah.
Proceed.
Amate's face right now is just like, ugh, disgusting. This angered her. Her brother owed her money. Her parents didn't back her up. Her parents were actually starting to charge her bills that she did not want to pay. She didn't think that she deserved to pay that. Mind you, Judy and Wayne actually had 3 kids. Michelle being the younger one, the older one being another daughter named Mary. But Mary wasn't involved in this family feud. So,
And I'm guessing she wasn't invited to Christmas either?
Yeah.
Or she probably lived far away.
Probably. I didn't read much about Mary. Okay. All I know is that they had an older daughter named Mary.
Yeah.
So cops didn't buy it. They take Michelle and Joseph to the station, interrogate them, and immediately Joseph cracks, and so does Michelle. And we're going to start off with Joseph. So it is believed, and they did do some tests on him, that he wasn't fully there. So with Joseph, they would talk to him, and then he would have moments where he would either talk to himself or just stare off into space, or just have moments where he would just burst into tears, regret what he did, or just stay silent.
Are they saying that he had a condition, or was this
Correct.
Because after aftershock kind of thing?
He had a condition.
Oh, okay.
Before any of this. And cops were thinking, oh, he's probably trying to go for reasonably insane. Mm-hmm. So that's why they did a test on him. And a psychologist actually concluded that he wasn't fully there.
Oh, okay.
But it wasn't something serious. Now, I forget the name or the condition that he had, but at the time, the prosecutors were trying to fight for the death penalty, which this was not something in their favor because this man was not all there.
Mm-hmm.
So what ended up happening is, and there's a recording of his interrogation, he burst into tears and basically confessed that Michelle was the one who told him that it was okay and that they would get money out of this. And basically she's the one who coached him and felt safe with Michelle. So it is said that in his past, his mother would abuse him, even though everybody, or she would make it seem to everybody that she was a loving mother. But according to Joseph and Joseph's aunt, that wasn't the case, and that she was an abusive woman, which is why they think he is how he is now. Now, mind you, this murder occurred in 2007, and they didn't basically start the trial until 2014.
Oh my God, 7 years later?
Mm-hmm. If you go and look up the case, there's like videos of people like marching, protesting, angry because there was no justice being served.
Why
And it's
was
7 years.
Did they explain why it was taking so long?
They didn't explain what it was. Well, and I'm assuming it's because of just them trying to figure out what to do with these people and basically fighting for the death penalty. That was the main thing that I found, is that they were fighting for the death penalty for both. And at the time, the governor of Washington, I guess, overruled the death penalty. So the highest sentencing you can get would be life in prison. So I told you what happened to Joseph. Now we're going to jump to Michelle. Michelle confessed to the cops that she was angry at her parents for making her pay bills, disgusting, and angry at her brother because he owed her $40,000, allegedly. And that's why she killed her entire family. After she said this, she immediately cracked, told the cops that she deserved to be executed because this was unforgivable, and she didn't care what would happen to her. Now, over the years, they would go and interrogate them again, interview them, and with Joseph was a weird one because you could see that he was a troubled man, like he wasn't fully there.
In the video?
In the videos, he would go on like either spacing out or full-on breakdown, and he would do the same thing in trial. So Joseph's trial was first, and again, prosecutors were fighting to get the death sentence, but he was given life without the possibility of parole. And then when they found out about that, it was Michelle's turn. They basically threw out the death penalty and said that because of what happened, the results with Joseph, they're not even going to bother fighting for the death penalty. They thought, and they still think, that this deserved the death penalty because it was like, or it is up until now, the most horrific thing that's ever happened in that town. But I guess the jury didn't think so. So that's why they got life. And Michelle ended up also getting life without the possibility of parole. And now they are in prison, running away.
Jesus.
Because a 29-year-old didn't want to pay bills.
So childish. Like, that's horrible. You're freaking 29. You haven't paid bills, and you haven't paid any bills? I think I started paying some type of bills when I was 17, my first job.
Yeah.
Still living at home.
Yeah.
I think I paid for my car insurance. That's something, you know?
Exactly.
Whatever.
And that is how this woman finished 3 generations.
The babies.
On Christmas Eve in 2007. I'm so sorry, you guys. These are not like happy cases at all. But then again, this is Let's Talk About Dark Shit. So I wanted to bring you guys cases set around Christmas. Please enjoy your Christmas. We just wanted to bring you something dark, and these were pretty dark.
Well, we're talking about dark stuff together.
Exactly.
For this holiday special.
Exactly.
Well, you guys, remember to be well.
Be safe.
And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.